Hi, everybody. Welcome. We're just gonna wait a couple seconds while some more people are joining. Cool. Okay. We're gonna go ahead and get started. Like I said, I know people are kind of gonna be joining as we start, but I want to make sure that we have the full hour just in case we need it. So thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Nina, and I am the Assistant Director of the Tulane Alumni Career and Professional Development Office. And so just a few housekeeping things before I hand it off to Swati. Please introduce yourselves in the chat and let us know where you're joining from. It's always fun to see where people are joining from throughout the country or the world. So we love to see that. And then this session is being recorded and it will be uploaded to our YouTube channel. I'll share that in the chat in a second. We have over 60 past sessions that are recorded and uploaded there. So if you'd like to be notified about when new recordings are uploaded, you can subscribe to our channel. So our topic today is going to be navigating the follow-up. We have Swati Shah leading us in today's session. If you have any questions throughout, you can put them in the chat and we'll circle back to them at the end. So I'm going to hand it off to Swati so that she can introduce herself. Swati, would you like to take it away?
Yes, thank you, Nina. I'm really excited to be here. And for everybody who doesn't know me, my name is Swati Shah. I am a Tulane alum from the residency program, Obstetrics and Gynecology, class of 1999. I also did a master's in public health in maternal and child health in 2009. And then I'm going back to school part-time at Tulane so I can have health insurance because I'm an entrepreneur now. But so let's talk about the really exciting thing of networking and navigating the follow-up. I'm going to share my PowerPoint, and at the end, I'd love to entertain some questions if we have time. And if not, you're welcome to email me. This is under my business called PlansConnect, which is for networking and science, but could be used for networking in other industries as well. So here we go. Okay, everybody. I hope you can see my screen. So, networking and navigating the follow-up. You want a career transition. How do you get out there? Maybe you're happy with your career, but you want to do more. Is LinkedIn really your answer? So, today we're going to do three things. We're going to define networking, which some of you are probably like, I already know how to do that. But you got to do it properly, lay the groundwork so that you can navigate the follow-up. And that is super key. I'll describe the tools to network and then navigating, and I'll give you some examples. So my slides are not advancing. Okay, here we go. So first of all, what is networking? Here's a definition from Merriam-Webster's dictionary. It's the exchange of information or services among individuals, groups, or institutions, basically for the cultivation of productive work relationships, for employment, business. And networking remains the number one cause of job attainment. So what does networking look like for you? Take a minute to think about this. It could be any number of things. I wrote personalized discussion, but I think our group is a little too big to have a free forum chat, but you're welcome to drop it in the chat if you like. And let's think about for a minute, why should you network? Because what is the purpose of it? It's about building meaningful connections to open doors to new opportunities. It's not just about who you know, but it's who knows you and what you stand for. The value of networking is every connection you make can add value, whether you learn something or you teach something, you exchange ideas. Maybe you hear something someone else does and you think, oh, well, how about if I apply that technique to this? And you have outreach through networking. Expanding your network increases your visibility in your field, helps you reach new groups of people, which can be critical for your personal and professional growth. So this one was kind of what I was saying, thinking about how do you network? Word of mouth. I told my neighbor about you, social media, Facebook groups, direct email, direct mail. Yeah, we actually still have postal mail, some of us. There's networking events, organizations like the Chamber of Commerce, there's vlogs, blogs. Anything that allows you to exchange information back and forth. That's how you can network. You can network in real life. I mentioned the Chamber of Commerce. If you are on LinkedIn, which I hope you are, you can share your LinkedIn QR code directly from the mobile app. You can even network at holiday parties, the neighborhood party, picnic, department activities. Have your elevator pitch ready. All of it counts. And then there's tools of networking. Should you have a digital card, like a Blink card, or do you just want to drop your iPhone contact? Now you can take iPhone to iPhone and go bzz, and you can exchange contact, but you have to have your contact card built into your phone. Or maybe you need a physical business card. You can print those at home. Do it with Canva, FedEx, Kinko's, whatever. And then, of course, there's the internet. I mentioned all this. I have all these apps on my phone. So these are all little screenshots from my phone. Um, you don't have to be on all of them. I'm just giving you examples. I'm not on Twitter, X, Blue Sky, or whatever. I am on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. So there's many, 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 many options. I'm just going to give you a little background on LinkedIn. Its mission is to connect the world's professionals to make them more productive and successful. The vision is to create economic opportunity for every member of the global workforce. So why am I talking about LinkedIn when there's so many ways to network? Because I feel that LinkedIn is the one that's the professional networking session. Facebook, I feel like is, I hear friends who say they're in the mom group, the kids group. I'm in a wine drinking group, whatever. It's just a variety of your personal interests. But then LinkedIn vets you. You can't completely lie on it. They do verify you. Instagram is for your pictures. TikTok's for video reels, so there's different purposes for different things, but LinkedIn is where you talk about what you do at work. I don't talk about, my plants or whatever, unless I'm talking about de-stressing from work. So that's a little bit of information about LinkedIn. Its purpose, according to them, is to grow, connect, and share amongst like-minded individuals. Bear that in mind as we go through this. It provides that digital platform for learning, marketing, and growing your practice, whatever your profession is. And again, it's a trusted and reliable environment. And no, LinkedIn is not paying me for this. This is just, I'm telling you, this is how I perceive it. And I've worked in a variety of occupations. I've worked as a physician, I've worked in public health, I've worked in the pharmaceutical industry, and now I've started up my own business called PlansConnect for networking and science. So, okay, now we've laid down the groundwork for this networking event. What do you do afterwards, right? That's what we're all here for. Like, how do I navigate the follow-up? What should I say? Should I write an email? Should I send a text? I don't know. I don't know what to do. So let's talk about some scenarios. First of all, follow-up is key. Whatever you do, even if all you say is a simple text saying, hey, so nice to meet you, Jennifer. I hope we stay in touch. That is follow-up. It's key, it's key, it's key, it's important. Keep doing it. Now, there's a method to the madness. Suppose you go to a cocktail party, the holidays are coming up, maybe there's a cocktail party, maybe you would get invited to someone's house for Thanksgiving dinner and you're not with your whole extended family. And you meet all these interesting people. You can, okay, so it's a party. You're not going to carry your paper business cards there, but you could take your phone and say, hey, I'd love to stay in touch. Can we share contact information? You can do the bzz thing with your cell phone and share text cell numbers and send each other a text. But don't just share the contact information, because when you get home and you don't remember, one day you look at your phone and you're like, who are all these people in my phone list now? That's not useful. So send a text immediately if you meet someone at that dinner party and say, hey, Jennifer, it was nice to meet you. Nice to talk to you about social work, whatever the topic was. And I'm going to give you more examples and explain more in a second. Now, my favorite though is if you actually have paper business cards. I know people who actually take notes on the cards. They sit there and scribble on the cards and whatever you talked about, like, and then you go home, or if you're at a work conference, maybe a national meeting, you go back to your hotel room and you can use a spreadsheet or some CRM software, that's customer resource management software, and input everyone's information and then make a list of how you want to follow them up. Or it could just be old fashioned, like in a notebook. I've done that too. That's what I did at my pharmaceutical job. So there's many ways to follow up. If you choose to do email or a text or some other message, whether it's on Messenger, LinkedIn, as I mentioned before, just a simple thank you. Tie your meeting and your connection. And hopefully, when you actually met, you had a chance to say, hey, I'd love to follow up with you. How shall we connect again? Because that's the best way to reach out again. Whatever that person says, I think we all know everybody has a different style. Some people love email, some people love text, some people don't answer anything. That makes it a little bit difficult, but figure out what works for the other person and what works for you and reach out. So now here's the nitty gritty examples. So email, keep it simple. Kiss, keep it simple, stupid, they say, or short and sweet, kiss. Be grateful. Thank you. When you express gratitude, it goes a long way. The person you're speaking to or connecting with again shows that you value their connection. You value their time, their information. You keep the message short and concise. Just mention a tiny highlight and say, it was great meeting you. I want to hear more about your work in the such and such industry. That is communicating your interest. Let them know you're looking forward to staying connected and why. Like, my work overlaps with yours. I hope we can collaborate in the future. So, this gives your message a very clear purpose and it encourages future contact. Does this mean you're going to score a job right away? No, that's not what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to say you have to build the momentum and you have to keep carrying the connection forward. It doesn't happen immediately. It takes time. Okay, what if it's a text? If you just had this casual interaction and or you had just had a really friendly connection, maybe you met someone really interesting on a flight next to you and you just might want to do a follow-up text. So again, introduce yourself. Say, hi, this is Swati Shah. We met on the flight to Los Angeles last week. And trust me, I have made many friends on the plane. um, I really enjoyed our discussion on farms and how farm to table is so key for the farmers markets. And then communicate the interest. So I'd love to stay in touch because I'm on the board of Sprout NOLA. I'd like to stay in touch and meet again, and let's talk about how we can make farmers markets more strong or connect them and see what we can do for our communities and offer something in return. Again, be grateful and I'm offering like a collaboration. Like, let's bring up both of our expertises to the table. Um, and I'm not angling for a job. I'm just following up on something I'm passionate about. And I all that I just said is true. I have met people who work in the farm to table movement. I am on the on one of the committees for Sprout NOLA. I have been on a different board for farmers markets, but I love following my passion and that carries over and people are excited to follow up with you when they feel that you're genuine. Now, following up, like I said, it's just the start of a professional relationship. You have to keep the momentum going, find ways to stay engaged, and create new opportunities to connect and deepen the relationship. If you really feel you had a fantastic conversation, propose a coffee meeting or a virtual chat. It doesn't have to be in the next 48 hours. You want to follow up within a couple of days of your initial introduction. And if you can, if something happens and and you're going to go on a 2-week vacation to Turkey, and you forgot to tell them because you just met a random stranger, you don't feel like telling them all your personal information, then when you do follow up, write a note saying, "Hey, I was on vacation for the last 2 weeks out of the country, but I didn't forget our conversation. I really wanted to follow up." And then say, you don't have the expectation of following up immediately, but say, "Here's my Calendly link," or ask them, "Is there a time or date that works for you in the next month?" And put a deadline, because you want to say, "I'll see you again in 4 weeks or 2 weeks." Be cognizant of any cultural, religious, or community holidays, such as, like, in the United States, we have Thanksgiving coming up. So I'm not going to try and meet anyone I met in the last 2 weeks before Thanksgiving if they live in the United States. Um, I would probably send a meeting out, an email out saying, "Do you have time to meet next month in December after Thanksgiving or before the holidays?" Um, and not everybody celebrates Christmas or whatever, but just be cognizant that, culturally in the US, many people are off around the end of December and the beginning of January. And if you get a sense that this person is entirely too busy or they don't answer you, you can write again and say, "Hey, let's meet in the new year." Now, what if you met them at an industry event, such as your national conference or a regional conference in your career focus, whether it's public health, medicine, whatever? Um, Ask them when you're at the meeting, "Hey, are you going to the next such and such society meeting?" And or do you come annually to every meeting? Do you present a poster at the meetings? And if there's a quarterly meeting, "Hey, I look forward to seeing you at the next one." You can say that. For example, in New Orleans, we have the Chamber of Commerce of New Orleans, and they have a women's business alliance that meets every month. They also have other events that meet every month, but typically the Women's Business Alliance, that's a great opportunity. It's small, it's intimate, it's not 500 people, it's usually like 50 to 100 women, and you can meet. And, if you're running out of time and you're like, "Look, I gotta go home and take care of some personal things, but I hope to see you again at the next month's event." And then it's on the top of both of your minds. And then when you see them next time, or you send that email or text saying, "Hey, it was so great to meet you. I hope we can have more time to talk next month." And that's how you build that momentum and keep it going. So you stay engaged and you keep exploring new opportunities to connect. Again, does this give you a job immediately? No. Is that what you were trying to do? Maybe, maybe not, but maybe you're just trying to broaden your horizons. So if you have a template, if you need a template, this is what I propose here. Um, Basically, again, keep it simple. "Thank you, person X. It was great meeting you at Y event last week." So that's the thank you, their name. You can put, "My name is so and so. We met," and that's when you're saying how you referred to how you met. "We met at this happy hour. We met at so and so." There's a woman in town, I'm blanking on her name, but she has mingling events once a year for the business community. I met so many life insurance, financial advisors, and real estate agents. I said, that's part of why I created my business, is because I'm trying to have something for networking and science. Anyways, but Mary Jane Walsh, that's her name. So she's known for her mingle sessions. So you can say, "I look forward to following up with you on, how to expand people networking in science." Um, Again, I wrote in this paragraph here, "Is there a preferred time or day of the week? Or do you have a calendar link that I can use?" If you don't want to ask for a calendar link, you can set up a Calendly link. It's free. Calendly, Calendly. If you're not familiar, Google it, or ask ChatGPT or Siri. And you can arrange a free account and send people, "I'd love to meet with you. Would you mind checking your calendar against my Calendly link and setting up a meeting with us?" That's a little bit more forward. I usually prefer to ask them if they have a calendar link, because I'm trying to connect with them, and I'm trying to build a relationship, so I'm not trying to place the onus on them. And I want to be respectful of their time. And again, as you're making your plan, offer something in return. Be grateful, be genuine, and say, look, hey, I'd love to collaborate with you. I can offer you blah. I have some ideas on how to grow your business. I know some people you should meet with. I know some people who would like your services. Um, I had an event last night actually, a networking event in New Orleans, and one of the women who came, I hadn't seen her in quite some time, and she had actually attended my very first pilot event, and we were reminiscing all the different occupations who had attended the social event. And I said, "Oh yeah, that person, he's a professor at Tulane. Well, he's now also a notary." And she says to me, I think I need a notary. I'm like, oh. So this morning I sat down on LinkedIn and I introduced the two of them on LinkedIn. And so I offered something to her in return for attending the event last night. And it was free on my part, but then she sees my value that I'm available for connecting people. And then end your email on a positive note. So looking forward to connecting soon again. Um, Eager to hear from you, or just a simple kind regards, best regards, sincerely, whatever is consistent with your personality. Again, you want to be genuine and come across as real. So, couple of other tips. I mentioned timing does matter. Promptness, promptness shows your enthusiasm, but I'm going to be honest, sometimes it's really hard. I get it. So even if you write back 2 months later, it's okay. Just write something to say, you know, that I'm still interested in getting to know you. Now, the odds of getting a response 2 months later are much lower than if you respond within 1 or 2 days of your initial interaction. But you never know when you're going to run into that person again. So at least you did drop a line at some point. All right, let's see. I'm gonna do a live Q&A. So if there's questions, I can do that. And then I can also jump into a little bit of Chat GPT. So I'm gonna stop sharing here and see what's in the chat. Or Nina, do you want to try moderating it for me?
Yeah, hey, so I actually have a question, and I think you sort of covered this, but like if we don't hear up, like if we don't hear from the follow-up that we like send out, let's say we follow up 2 days later and it's been like 2 weeks, what do you think is like the standard for how long you should reach back out after that?
Oh, that is a great question. Yes, I didn't really talk about repetitive follow-up. It really depends on the rhythm and the basis of your conversation. If you had discussed something specific that was time sensitive, you could indicate in your email or your initial outreach that you want to connect within a certain time frame. And if you haven't heard in that time frame, then you can say, you could, you know what works really well many times in the subject line, second email request. It's a little tacky and cheesy, but then they realize, oh, this is not spam. Um, and put something in the subject line that references like who you are. This is assuming you're doing an email. And if you don't have a dedicated deadline to follow up, I think 2 weeks is reasonable. You could even do a month. It all just depends on what you know of the person. If you know the person is like about to have a baby in 3 weeks, then you might want to wait 2 months, but
Totally.
uh so and definitely writing two sets of emails is reasonable. Um, if you feel your email is going into spam, I would suggest an alternate method. Reach out on LinkedIn and say, hey, I sent you an email. I'm really sorry. I'm not trying to be pushy or obtrusive, but I was really eager to connect with you. I admired your work so much. Definitely a little flattery helps. And be sincere. Don't lie. I mean, again, you can't just get a job out of them. You can't, as a friend of mine used to say, you can't make milk from a turnip, but um, you got to at least pave the way forward and build that momentum because they might know someone who might know someone who could actually help you out in your career.
Awesome. Okay, cool. Thank you for answering that. I don't see any other questions currently in the chat. If
Oh,
anybody has any, they can throw them in there, but maybe could we move on to the chat GPT part? I'd love to see more about
okay.
that.
Okay, let me pull that up 1 second here.
Awesome.
All right. I would love it if someone gives me an example of what they would like to follow up. If anybody has a story they want to throw in the chat, like I was at this event and I don't know how to follow up this conversation. And if nobody types anything in the chat, I'll make up something from my own experiences in a minute. Okay, my chat GPT screen is up. Has anyone put in anything yet?
I don't see anything in the chat. I'm trying to think from my own experience, but if you have anything offhand,
Okay.
Swati, I I'm with you.
Okay. So I
Oh,
mentioned I hadn't
wait, we
wait,
actually just got one. I'm so
okay.
sorry to cut you off. We just
No, no.
got, I was at a networking event and someone told me they had lots of single friends they would refer, but have not. She's a matchmaker.
Ah, okay. So how do I follow up a referral for my business? I am a matchmaking service, and someone has said they have many single friends who could benefit from my services. Typo there. So I put in the basic information. I have some ideas in my head, but let's see what ChatGPT has to say. Aha. Can everybody see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay, so this list went on. It said following up on a referral for your matchmaking service requires a thoughtful and personal approach. Here's a step-by-step strategy. Express gratitude, set the stage, ask for an introduction, provide materials, incentives, and promptly and keep it friendly. So number 4 here, this is exactly what I was thinking of, was when you write a follow-up, say, hey, I thought I would send you a link to my website or, um, or a special referral code or um, if you actually have a paper brochure you want to physically mail them, that's something else too. And if number 5, if you have an incentive, a magnet or some other thing. And it, also, if you, I don't know the context of how you met this person, but you can keep it friendly and not pressured. So you just say, hey, you mentioned all these people might be interested in my services. I'm just going to send you my email or my website link to make it easier. There's a form if they're interested and it's anonymous. You're not going to know if they used it or not. And here is actually ChatGPT generated a whole entire sample message. It said, hi, so-and-so. I just wanted to thank you again for mentioning my matchmaking service to your friends. It truly means a lot to me. I'd love to connect with them if they're interested. Would you feel comfortable making an introduction? Or can I send you some details to share with them directly? Let me know what works best for you. I love this approach. This is a no pressure. It can go this way or this way. And uh you can make it work for you without pressuring the person you just met. Um, how should we expand on this in Chat GPT? Who wants to, is there more commentary in the chat?
We have another question, actually.
Okay.
It's not referred to this, but The question is, on a non-personal level, there are some government-sponsored organizations that provide help with the grant arm of organizations. For example, they do a conduit to the Navy grant program, which is open topic. I sent them info and did not hear back, and I've just tabled it till something changes, but it would be nice to keep the conversation going. Any thoughts?
Okay, this one's a tough one because it sounds like you wrote an email into a black hole. Do you have any way of connecting to make it a more personal connection, such as a message off of any like LinkedIn, social media? Do you know anyone in the same office or that one's a tough one. I'm not even sure how I would use ChatGPT for that one. I guess you could put in the specifics. So before I type something else in ChatGPT, with the current sample that's on the screen, you can even use ChatGPT to draft a more specific message or creating material for the referral. You could use a Google form, and if you don't already have one for your matchmaking service, to say, "Are you interested?" And you can have that link that you can send to your friend, and then your friend can share that, or the connection person can share it with their friends. Excuse me. And it would simply be a link to generate more information, not necessarily sign up for the matchmaking service. It is an extra level of screening, I guess, but it does eliminate the pressure between you and the person you met. I hope that makes sense for this one. Excuse me.
It does.
Okay, good. And then,
Thanks, Swati.
yeah, no, thank you. The government one, I'm thinking, okay, read that to me one more time. I'm going to type something while you say it.
Yeah, and then we have another question after that. But on a non-personal level, there are some government-sponsored organizations that provide help with the grant arm of organizations. I sent them info and did not hear back, and I've just tabled it till something changes, but it would be nice to keep the conversation going. Any thoughts?
Let's see.
It's in the chat as well if you want to click and like copy paste anything.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Let's see what ChatGPT has to say. Okay, review the confirmation or response. Make sure it went through. If there's a specific contact, oh, that goes along with the digging around that I said. Look for a specific program or officer. Draft a follow-up message. This is great. See, you asked me a question that I'm not familiar with, but ChatGPT might have the answer for you. And I'm learning to use it more. Use multiple channels, which was my suggestion. And also, when you do reach out, be ready. Remember, the one thing I said at the beginning of this talk was, yeah, we all know how to network, but if you're networking properly, you're exchanging business cards, keeping track of who you met with, what you want to follow up with, be ready to ask specific questions. Your networking is only as effective as you make it. And if you don't remember anything at all, what you talked to the person about, how are you going to follow up with them? Just, even if it's something simple like, oh, I liked your shoes and I want to know where you bought them. Anything, you have to have some context to put it together. And then document everything so that you can keep track, because you never know when someone will actually read your material in a grant submission portal, in a portal that you don't know how backlogged they are. And so it's hard to say when and why they would get back to you.
Totally. All right, thanks, Swati. We have one more question.
Okay.
I'm gonna read it. So it says, I was at an alumni networking event and reconnected with someone. I told him about my current job search and he seemed like he was willing to help. I sent an email to him asking for some people/teams that he thought would be appropriate for me to reach out to during my job search, and he has not received a response. So how would you go about dealing with that?
Okay, that one. I'm not sure I would use ChatGPT for. Well, you could, but that one is a soft skill. Sometimes, unfortunately, people are enthusiastic but not good on the follow through. And sometimes it's us. We're not good on the follow through for navigating, a job interest. So just remember it goes two ways. If there's something you can offer this person in return that would make them want to answer you back, I would definitely say that. Or let's see, if you were at an alumni networking event, ask if there's an opportunity for another event. Will they be seeing you there? Um, if it was virtual, that makes it trickier. Sorry, what'd you say?
I didn't say anything.
Oh,
Sorry.
okay.
I was just listening. I might have had noise from the background.
Oh, okay. No, it's okay. Um, but if it was an in-person event, maybe follow up with a more casual thing and say, "Hey, I'd love to follow up on discussion with you. Are you going to will you be attending the next networking event for alumni on such and such day? If not, would love to set up a quick Zoom follow up." Um, Unfortunately, I think the truth is it's really painful. Sometimes not everybody follows through. I'm just being honest. I remember attending a networking session last year, where I saw someone I thought was totally like golden and like a very great ticket into more connections. I could not get more than one message response out of him, and after that, he ghosted me. And I was really puzzled because I was like, I knew you in your other job and you were always so charming and pleasant. I don't understand. But unfortunately, we can't bat 100% or whatever, whatever the sports analogy is, it can't be 100% all the time. So sometimes you just have to move on and try a different approach for the next person.
Awesome. Thank you for that answer, Swati. Um, if there are any more questions, please share them in the chat. But I think that we're kind of nearing the end. Swati, do you have any last words to kind of wrap us up before we
Yeah, I
end?
do have a few final thoughts. Thank you. And I really appreciate everyone's enthusiasm and interest on the call. Let me pull up my last few couple of slides and um, one second. Wait, so, um, mastering the follow-up. It's an essential part of effective networking. Like I said, it goes hand in hand. You can't do good follow-up without good networking. So you got to lay the groundwork, lay it down well. And a friendly email or a thoughtful text can help you stand out and ensure that your new contacts remember you in a positive light. Just remember, keep it simple, short, express gratitude, stay proactive, and try to make some future plans. Move on if that person doesn't respond after a couple of attempts. Last but not least, if you're looking for more personalized guidance, consider reaching out to my business PlansConnect. We offer customized LinkedIn consultations and 1 hour professional coaching sessions. I can give you more concrete, personalized examples to help you navigate follow up and maximize your networking success. So happy networking. And I do have references. And last but not least, if you want to follow up, you can email me, Swati J. Shaw at plansconnect.org. I'm also on LinkedIn. I'm also on Instagram as PlansConnect. I'm also on Facebook, but I don't think anybody uses Facebook anymore for professional stuff. So I created the account to have it there. But, anyways,
Thank you so much, Swati. This has been awesome. Thanks everybody for being here. I'll be in your inbox later today or this week with some of the stuff that Swati shared throughout the session. But I hope everybody has a great rest of their day and thank you so much for joining us.
thank you all very much. I'm so thankful you're all here, and I hope to meet some of you in real life. I'm going to stay on and read all the chat comments of where everybody's from. So they logged in. So thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.